Hey there, Kim Levinsky here for the next update on this vlog. Last time we talked, let you know Tahoe 200 was canceled, and I was on my way out to Colorado for a little retreat, and that was a phenomenal trip. I had the absolute best time out there. A lot of downtime, got out onto the trails there, got to spend a lot of time with my friend Dina and her family, and also got to catch up with some other friends who had recently moved out to the Boulder area from Brooklyn. And so it was just fantastic. You can see from these pictures that the trail beauty was just unbelievably overwhelming. It was amazing. And it was also just a really good time to get away and to relax, because I don't do that a lot. So I turned off email, got off social media. I didn't do any work the entire 6 days that I was there. So I came back just feeling really rested and recovered and refreshed. I think refreshed is probably the best way to describe that trip. It was just so good. And the time with friends was just really priceless. So while I was out there, one of the goals was to kind of get some closure on Tahoe 200 for this fall, but then to also make some plans for what I was going to do with all the training. And I'm happy to report that I have a plan that is going to be set in motion in probably a little over 12 hours from now. Tomorrow, Saturday, September 25th, I'm going to be doing a run venture in the Hudson Valley area in New York. So this is an idea that I've had for over a year, maybe close to 2 years. It started when I had all my trail maps out for the Hudson Valley, and I basically drew a big route and thought like, oh, this would be really cool to connect all these trails, all these places that I love training, I love hiking and exploring and trail running. And so while I was out in Colorado, brought the maps, used Gaia, used Strava, all of the good mapping tools, and made a loop that just so happened to come out to around 100 miles. It's actually about half of what the Tahoe statistics would be. So Gaia is estimating about 22,000 feet of climbing, and it's going to be about 100 miles long. So time will tell to see if those statistics are accurate. You never know when you're mapping it online compared to what it's actually going to come out when you're out there on the mountain. So that is the plan for this weekend. I'm going to start at 4:30 in the morning on Saturday and make my way from Bear Mountain State Park all the way up the east side of the Hudson River and then back down the west side of the Hudson River. And the whole time, the elevation profile is just up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Pretty much any mountain that's along that route, that's the goal, is to go up and down it. So some of the highlights include the famous, Anthony's Nose is really great on the Appalachian Trail. Breakneck Ridge should be interesting to do that. That's going to be around mile 30, and that is just, it's considered one of the hardest hikes on the East Coast. So that's going to be fun. Mount Beacon is after that, Fishkill Ridge, and then it crosses over the Newburgh-Beacon Bridge, starts to make its way down. It does have one stretch of roads about 12 miles long, and then it hits Storm King Mountain, Black Rock Forest, goes on the very northern tip of Harriman State Park, shoots up to Popolopen-Tourne, which has another really great spot for some scrambles and steep climbing, and then finishes with none other than a summit to Bear Mountain, and then back down. So it has been a lot of fun planning this. Like, this is my jam. I love the run venture, self-supported stuff. Thankfully, I'm not going to be doing this completely self-supported. I have kind of a small army of amazing friends that are going to be coming out throughout the weekend. And already I can't even express my gratitude to them. I'm just feeling so amazingly supported for this weekend. And I'm going to do the first 30, well, actually it's less than that now. It's probably about the first 25 miles by myself. And then I'm going to meet up with my friend Robin Chase. We're going to get finally our Tahoe pacing leg together. She's got probably one of the toughest sections. That includes Breakneck Ridge and Bull Hill, Fishkill Ridge. It's going to be really memorable, I'll say that. And then I'm going to meet up with a few more friends in Beacon for the road section. I'm going to see Becca Constant, Janice Shernez, Joe Brandine, and Mason Crow. We're going to have a great contingency going around on the road, and we're going to be all lit up with the reflective gear because it's probably going to be around sunset. And then I'm going to meet my friends Kaylin Hopkins and Ryan Thorpe for what I think will probably be the hardest section, because this is going to be in the middle of the night and it's at Storm King and Black Rock, which is just really, really technical trails. It's just, I describe Storm King as like very aggressive rocks. There's not a lot of running there, at least for me on a good day. So in the middle of the night, it's just going to be a slog, I think. But I am so thankful for Kaylin and Ryan, because they are very, very, very experienced runners. I look up to them, and they've done some amazing things in our sport. So I am definitely in good hands for the overnight portion. And then in the morning, I'm going to meet Gracie, my crew chief. She's going to be there to bring me home. I think Janet is coming back for the morning. And then I put the word out to other friends who are going to, I think we're going to have a nice crew for the last 6.5 miles, which is the summit to Bear Mountain and back. So anyway, I'm really excited, and I'm happy that, I found this. I was looking at races, but nothing really got me too excited to do in place of Tahoe for this fall. And so this just feels good. It makes sense. This is where I trained, this whole last year. I feel comfortable on these trails, and it's going to be interesting putting them all together, because obviously I've never put them all together. In a way, I'm a little bit more, I don't know, it's hard to say. Like, part of me feels like I'm more intimidated to do this than Tahoe 200, which sounds crazy, but I think because the trails are so technical and rugged compared to, in my mind, Tahoe 200 was buttery smooth, as Matt would say. But there's probably, trade-offs for each of them. I don't have the elevation, the altitude here in New York, obviously, compared to Tahoe. But anyway, I'm excited. I'm excited, scared, all the emotions are playing out right now. There's some doubts and all that, but that's how I felt about Tahoe. So I think it's a good thing to, have that for this experience. So I want to walk you through my gear, because this is actually, it's kind of a trial run for Tahoe 200, because it's pretty much the similar gear that I would have been taking to Tahoe anyway. So I've got it all laid out here. I'm going to walk you through it. Sticking with my pack that I have been using all year, Ultra Aspire Zygos. It has about 14 liters of capacity. I'm going to have my 2-liter bladder in there that I'll use for water. And then I'm only going to take one of the 20-ounce soft flasks that I'm going to use for scratch. This summer I've been training with 2 of them in the front, but there's so many water sources along this route, and I'm going to have my filter bottle with me, that it doesn't make sense to start with all of that extra weight. I know it's not a lot of extra, but it's enough over 100 miles. So I'm going to do 120 ounce with the scratch, and then the 2-liter bladder in the back, and then I'm going to load everything up into here. All right, so let's go through it. We got the pack. We've got, of course, the poles, which I have been, I'm laying right next to my bed, so I don't forget these. That would be catastrophic. So I've got the poles. I use the Black Diamond Carbon Z, and they have worked out really, really well the last couple of years. Other gear, clothing-wise, and extra stuff that I'll have in my bag. Sunglasses, I use the Gooder glasses. I'm treating this like it's a mountain race, so that's how I'm going to treat it. I'm going to bring lightweight beanie. I'm going to bring extra socks we'll always have in my pack. I've got lightweight gloves, and I've got a lightweight jacket with a hood. This is my Smart Wool jacket. It worked out great. It's just a really great layer to have. And, the temperatures are going to be really nice. It's going to be in the 70s during the day, and then drop down to the mid-50s overnight, which I know isn't really super cool. You might be thinking, why bring all that stuff? But hey, you never know. Something could happen. You get stuck on a mountain somewhere, and I'm going to want to have that extra stuff. So that extra clothing gear is going to go into this 2-liter waterproof bag that I was using all summer. And it is waterproof. It does work, because you've seen all the training I've done in the rain. That has worked out well. Like I said before, I got the filter bottle. This has been awesome. It's the Be Free Katahdin. It's a 1/2 liter. And I love it because all you do is just fill it with water. You put on the top, and then you can obviously drink directly from it, or squeeze it into the bladder or your soft flask. So it's great because it collapses down, and this fits right into the bottom zipper of my pack. So that's been really good all summer. The usual sunscreen, bug spray. The bugs are still out there, unfortunately, even though it's starting to cool off. the mosquitoes were nasty this past weekend. I've always got my little first aid kit, and that's got a little blister kit in there. And then emergency blanket. I was debating bringing the bivy or not, but I'm ending up going to go with the blanket. Packs down a little bit further, and I'm going to be with friends the entire time. And Kaylin is actually bringing her packable sleeping bag for our overnight one because the potential to need to just collapse and crash in the middle of the night if I'm not able to sleep in her Jeep in between segments. So knowing that she's got her sleeping bag, I'm just going to go with the emergency blanket. Lighting system, going with the Kogalla as usual. So I've got my Kogalla light here, and then I've got a small battery pack that I'm going to start with for the morning. And I gave the bigger battery pack to Becca, who I'm going to see for the night section. And so we're just going to swap out packs. And then I've got a external extra battery pack that I'll always keep in my bag for charging a phone or whatnot that can be used for during the day and overnight. And then the Garmin InReach. So I am going to do live tracking. This will actually be the first time I'm doing live tracking. It's all set up online already. Drop the website down here if you want to follow along. So I'm going to be running it through the InReach Mini, and that will send updates hopefully the entire time. So that'll be fun for people to follow along. Even though I'm going to probably have cell service the entire time, it's nice to have that so people can stay updated. Always have an extra cheap headlamp that's going to come in my pack. I am going to bring the charging cable for my watch because who knows how long I'm going to be out there, and I want to keep the watch going. So I can use that on the extra battery pack that I have. And then bring a credit card because we're going to be stopping for food. That's another nice part about this route is that it goes through downtown Cold Spring and it goes through downtown Beacon, and then on the road section there'll also be opportunities to stop. So that's really nice knowing that I can stop and get real food several times throughout the entire run. So I'm going to make sure I have that. My ID, I actually have a road ID that's on my shoe, so I'm not going to bring my license because that has all my information on there already for the road ID. And then nutrition wise, so this was fun. It involved a lot of planning. Had to do some drop bags because I wasn't really interested in carrying 100 miles worth of food. I don't even know if I could do that, but no interest in doing that. So with friends coming out to crew and pace, I gave them drop bags that have already been distributed to those friends earlier this week. So each of the bags I planned out at least one item of food per estimated like 45 minutes to an hour, and put those all together in a Ziploc and then gave that inside of another bag to those friends. So they're all labeled. They, my friends know what to bring, when to bring, and basically it looks kind of like this. So it's a big gallon-sized Ziploc. I've got all the snacks in there, the usual things I've been training with all year: Boba bars, Lara bars, some Scratch, spring gels, pretzels, trail mix, and then I've also got some Pro bars and of course baby wipes. And then also in the drop bags with my friends are like things like a change of clothes, extra pair of shoes, extra socks, stuff like that. So that took a little bit of planning, but it's all set and should be ready to go. I am going to pack some of the pre-race caps, caffeine caps, to see. I'm assuming I'm going to use them. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm thinking that I am going to sleep at some point for a couple of hours because even without sleep, I think this would take upwards of 35 to 40 hours, which I don't think I can stay up that long. So I'm going to plan on sleeping in a friend's car if I have the opportunity to do that. Maybe a dirt nap. We're going to see what happens. And then I'm bringing some extra Ziploc bags that I can use for trash, and if I pick up some extra food in those towns that we're going to be stopping in. And then lastly, I'm going to take a page out of Matt Klein's book by doing little cheat sheets for myself. So I am going to treat this as aid station to aid station, just mentally, emotionally. I'm going to be in a better place doing that than thinking about the 100 miles as one big loop. So what I did is printed out the turn-by-turns for each of the sections, and then and that's also going to keep me from pulling out my phone constantly to look at that document that I already have made up. So I've got it here. It's laminated, and then on the back of each of them, I put how long this segment is along with the amount of climbing and descending, and then who my pacers are going to be there. So this will be nice too, because friends have already offered, like, hey, just let me take the cue sheet and I can, you don't have to think about it as we're going through. Everybody already has the GPX file on their phone or watch, so fingers crossed we should be all good with navigation. I think it's gonna... I think that's it. I think it's going to be pretty wild. I don't really know what to expect. I'm excited, scared, nervous, excited to do something very, very hard. I feel like that's kind of the mental space that I'm in right now, is that it's kind of all this pent-up training that's happened over the last year, and it was, I felt like I was ready to do Tahoe a couple weeks ago. So now it feels like this is a really good outlet to put all that training to good use and kind of a celebration of the last year. And in a way, it's really special because a lot of friends are going to be able to come out and either run some of it with me, support me along the way, and that is really cool to be able to share that with this awesome trail running community here. And I know I'm probably going to sound like a broken record because I feel like I say this on a lot of the vlogs. At least I was really preaching it on the last one, but I can't express my gratitude enough for my friends who are not only coming out for this weekend, there's a whole bunch of them who are going to be there for this traverse along the way, but also so many people who have reached out to me when I shared this online, that this was the plan. Countless people reached out and just said, they'd be following along, wishing me the best, and just feeling so much love and support. And, back to the crewing pacing, I've always said that I think crewing and pacing is like the most selfless thing that you can do on this planet. I mean, staying up all night to help a delusional runner navigate through the woods, and it's just incredible. And I'm thankful that I had the experience to do Bigfoot 200 a few weeks ago for crewing and pacing, because it really has just made me appreciate even more the folks who are coming out this weekend to help me, and then in a few more months for Tahoe 200. So anyway, I'm just feeling the love. My Tahoe crew is involved in this in one shape, form, or another. A bunch of the girls are coming out. Dina helped me on the back end with the nutrition plan. I'm feeling the love from Laura down in Virginia, who's cheering me on. And it's just awesome. I mean, I can't say enough how amazing the trail and ultra community is, and I'm so thankful to be a part of it. Anyway, that's kind of the rundown of what's going to be going on this weekend. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll come back to you in a couple days and I can give you an update of how the whole run venture went. So thank you for following along this journey. It's been a ride, and I hope you've enjoyed it along the way. So we will catch you on the next update.